where we develop certain issues. However, we understand what is the change. During the first half, we will be taking up. I think a lot of questions is coming. I think tomorrow, and I think that's more pertinent. We'll be covering up first one, the geological issues. So, how to select the storage? What are the criteria for selection of these? And how do we select which of the layers which is suitable for injection, which is not suitable for injection? What is the legal aspects out of that? And what is the certainty that, how do we ascertain that CO2 is not going to come back, CO2 is going to stay, which is called permanence. So permanence issue, leakage issue, that means leakage is there or seepage is there. There are transboundary issues that we put it in, so we were just discussing during the break, that we put it in Bombay High, it comes out in Pakistan. So what happens? So there are transboundary issues coming in. But mostly these are the geological storage related issues, and we would love to discuss that. But it will take a bit time, so in the tomorrow morning sessions we will go through that. And then we will be talking about developing a licensing policy. Before doing a CCS project, what things needs to be done? Legal issues over there. What is the liability? If something goes out, who is liable? How do we fix that liability and financing? And then after those issues, we will be breaking up in 4 or 5 groups, mixing up. Mix up the groups and we really want your view because on developing the CCS roadmap for India. So I think January we will be discussing about what are the basic 5 topics, so that tonight you can go back and search a bit of internet, and if you want, I can also share some documents of this. But tomorrow we'll do a work exercise, group exercise, and we'll be coming out how PHL can prepare for future CCS roadmap. So what are the different aspects? How do we plan things out? And this obviously is not going to let us summarize the planning exercise, but we will be much more clear what components needs to be thought of. And then we will be analyzing each of the results which everybody offers. So that is the interactive exercise, and then we will be going in the second half future round of technologies specifically. Now I am going to play this small, it's a 4-minute video, so your attention is a bit required.
But greenhouse gas emissions, mainly carbon dioxide, are the primary contributors to climate change. CO2 emissions from the power sector already account for 40% of the energy sector's CO2 emissions, and the demand for power generation capacity is projected to almost double by 2030. Hence, the need to generate a significant amount of clean electricity has never been more urgent. Abu Dhabi is planning to play a leading role with developing gas emissions, mainly carbon dioxide, are the primary contributors to climate change. CO2 emissions.
So, yes, sir, please.
Global temperature cycle over thousands of years.
I'm sorry, sir, can you
So
repeat?
if you browse the net for getting the temperature trend, global temperature trend over thousands of years, we see the variation cyclic manner. Will you get my point? See, the global temperature trend has not been a constant one and now only it is increasing. It is not the case. It has been undergoing cyclic change as per that graph published in the net.
Is the CO2 concentration?
Not CO2. Global temperature. Global
Okay,
temperature.
yes, yes,
Global warming.
yes.
So it has been there even before scientific development.
Yes, sir, from 650 million years back.
Yes, it has been undergoing some changes.
Yes.
When there was not the human-made CO2 itself,
Yes.
the temperature has risen and fallen down, risen like that. And we all of a sudden we are telling that only the CO2 is contributing for global warming.
Yes. As a very clear said, yes. And again, everything has a bit of history. The first thing is that how do we come out at what was the temperature previous and how, because the history of recorded temperature, it comes with the Celsius for last, I think, not very long, it is 130, 140 years. So we actually precisely measuring the temperature, which is 1860, 1870 onwards this measurement started. However, this measurement again started in few of the countries, few of the places, not globally. How first question is how do we measure the technology? I'm coming to your question. I'm just looking for other parts on this also. And typically, how the temperature is measured? It is measured. They go to the Pacific island or some of the islands secluded in the sea, mid of the other nations. They put a balloon up to 30 meters. And then there they measure the temperature as well as the concentration. Because if I measure the temperature in this area, there will be a local heat island by this building. So that will affect the city. So we measure this one. However, the measuring technique typically has been done with the Arctic ice. What they go down and they take out the core of ice shells. And with the ice shells, we put out that oxygen, they are trapped in this ice shell, and with the isotopes of oxygen, we measure out what is the temperature. And we could precisely go down with this thing 650 million years back, and we found out there is a very good natural cycle of global warming and global cooling. And it is called basically it is called this ice extraction. Telling all these things, everything has a rate of reaction. When the reaction happens, it's fine, but what is the rate of reaction? And it is said that every of the global warming, natural global warming, followed by global cooling. Happens. Now, if your answer is why global warming, why global cooling, I'll be ready to take that question also first, but now coming on to this. However, on the last 200 years, what is happening? The rate of temperature rise has gone beyond that normal. Because if we see in the last 650 million years, the temperature has not gone up significantly the rate of in the last 200 years it has gone up. So here is the difference. So immediately question up is there a relation between CO2 as well as the temperature? The question was asked. So, the moment we talked the heat, we created out 650 million years of temperature curve, we put out 650 million years of CO2 curve also. And we could find out there is a specific relation between the CO2 concentration and the temperature. So whenever the CO2 concentration went up, it has been global warming, and immediately there was a global cooling. So there is a specific mathematical correlation between the CO2 and the temperature and the global warming and cooling. Now, yes, sir, please. And then, in the last 200 years, we see the rate has gone up. It's 280 ppm to 400 ppm in 200 years. It's an abnormal rate which has never ever happened. Now, so we are expecting, and the temperature has gone up. In the fluctuation of temperature has gone up and down, up and down. On an average, if you take 100 years of pace, we have gone up. They have not gone down, and there is a significant departure from the normal on the higher side of this. And just why CO2 is responsible for global warming? It's quite simple. CO2 and black carbon, both of the things which is man-made things. When it disperses in the atmosphere, it is having a property of reflecting low. When the sunlight comes, it's a very high frequency energy. When it hits the earth, it becomes a low frequency heat wave. Now CO2 is having a property of obstructing the low frequency heat wave, but allowing the high frequency heat wave. So CO2 actually creates a heat barrier over there. And we have seen that with the abnormal growth of CO2 in the atmosphere, we are actually finding out abnormal growth of temperature also. So that's all the reasons we are actually, we have a belief. Now it is, if you talk about it is proven scientifically, no, but the 80% of the scientific community believes it's a man-made one. 20% still did not believe.
What about the moisture content in the atmosphere? Its effect on global warming?
Pardon, sir?
Whatever content in the atmosphere, its effect on global warming.
I couldn't follow, sir.
Water vapor. You are talking only about CO2, but H2 was water vapor. It has an effect on global warming.
Yes. See, not only H2O, it is also the black carbon or aerosols. It comes from the vehicles of the carbon dust particles over there, and there is the hydrofluorocarbons over there. So there is a lot of other materials which is having GHG potential, GHG enhancing potential. And yes, it was there. And with the global, now it's a path which is non-reversible, because what is happening, the moment you have some amount of temperature rise, it actually triggers more water vapors coming out of the sea. Because we have a huge amount of water body, even 2/3 of the water body, it actually emits more amount of water vapor coming out. So it is not going to become a solution, but it's going to be a problem prevented increasing. Every problem is going to be increasing, not decreasing anyway. Yes, sir, please.
This is one area where I think we have been very technical, but it is the very. I am very duty bound to explain why CCT, global warming, climate change, CCS is very important. Because I was also like all of us, like common people, like you are going around. But before doing that, let me caution you one thing. Web is a very, very good place to have information. But in web you have everything. You have every sort of information. Most of it are not very authentic. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is an organization created by governments to study climate change over a very long period of time, and billions of dollars have been invested on it. They have come out with, they have employed great experts in this field, interdisciplinary experts, that have taken up research projects, and finally they came out with a very alarming book, alarming report in 2010. Before that also they have come out with a lot of reports. and then Al Gore, the president of US, who actually was president of US, but subsequently he was said he was not president of US. He has lived the entire life. He has taken great pains. He has taken a movie called Inconvenient Truth. So now, the Nobel Committee calls Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and calls Al Gore and gives them a Nobel Prize for proving that climate change is a disaster. And what more proof you want? In fact, I completely disagree with you when you say 80% is true and 20% is not true. Because I am seeing the disaster in Tamil Nadu. I belong to the village. My father built a beautiful house in 1980. Now if you go to the village, you see my house. My father is no more. It is just a 21-year-old house. My mother is a very, as you know, those generation women, they work very hard. I'm sorry for this. Very hard. That house is meticulous. But you can see till 1 meter of water coming up. Because the sea level, I sincerely doubt the sea level has already started increasing. There is one island which disappeared from the face of the earth, and 700 families were moved away. Their houses are no more. Do you know where that island is? It is not in Norway. Gujarat is in Bengal.
Yes, in fact, I was going to tell you.
And 700 children, their playground is no more. Women are jobless. It is estimated 500 million environmental refugees will be there. Environmental refugees. We have seen political refugees, we have seen war refugees, we have seen other natural disaster refugees. But this is going to be environmental. We said, what will happen when 7,000 coastal area, if sea rises by 10 centimeters, you are finished. And those people who are going to be affected is not us. They are people who are going to be at the bottom of the funnel. They are people who have no way to sustain them. We talked about Africa. And Africa is a country which cannot afford this. Climate change is a fashionable word, but it is a very, very frightening word. I have my land here. If I don't have my rain today, how will my family eat tomorrow? So it is a very, very sensitive and most humane question. And otherwise, I don't think Jairam Ramesh and Nathan and Rajan will be going all the way to fight in so many forums. So there is a school of thought, especially in US, which sort of undermines climate change for their own purpose. But there is another school of thought, as I said, Al Gore and so many professors, who have been trying to fight with them. The beautiful planet, two caps, the North Cap and the South Cap. The North Arctic ice cap, in the winter, in the summer, there is no ice cap. There is no cap at all, which used to be there for millions of years. And now it is not there. He said just one example of a glacier disappearing. But again, but the problem is, we are marching to, it's like adding a sand. If you go on adding one more drop of sand, you are going to collapse. The entire system is going to collapse. It is not just 2 degrees, 3 degrees. It is going to be the ultimate collapse of everybody. You can't, once it starts collapsing, once the climate change, or once the climate system is going to collapse, you can't capture carbon dioxide after that. It won't stop that collapse. You will not be able to fight with nature. That is a very massive system. In fact, Riaz asked me what happens to carbon dioxide, all the carbon dioxide, oxygen goes, we will get suffocated. But what we can pollute is very, very little. So we are in a very, very disastrous situation. Because we have other disasters, like we do not have electricity for 4 hours, because we do not have food, we do not have train. This disaster has not yet struck us. Therefore, we are not ready to look at it. But if this disaster is going to strike us, I don't think we have any solution. We can't find it. This is the ultimate solution. So there is an attempt by some groups, like, I'm sorry to say that, coal lobby. the coal lobby in US during President Bush era, they came up with a series of advertisements that saying that clean coal technology is nothing, there is nothing called clean, the clean coal, this thing, everything. And there is another group which says this is just an excuse for using coal again. So we need to look at it very sensitively, and we need to take the information available to us from all the sources, the pinch of salt. I would request you the same kind of, because I have been listening to some of the very, very important questions you have been asking. I would also request you to kindly study the IPCC report, which is already on the website, and definitely it will.
Thank you so much. And if anybody wants to carry that movie, and having you may have this, anybody welcome. Come if you have this tomorrow. I'll transfer the movie.
Tomorrow afternoon,
Sure. Sure. I think excellent. Thank you so much, sir. No, you are absolutely. I had been to that village to see by myself whether it happens or not. It's not there. It's not there. And we went on the boat and we could see the ground and we could see the cultivation land around us. Houses were down, submerged, and it's not there. The whole island is gone. And I really do not know. Half of the Sundarban was washed out.
The point that Metu was made is a very clear, very good point that these data which are showing that there are so many people, they are not scientifically collected. We do not know who has collected it and who has presented it.
You are like that.
Yes, sir. I think you have some questions. Please.
Regarding this temperature increase, what you have mentioned, I would like to correlate. Why can't we compare with the evolution of sun's light? Like for every universe, every solar system there is light. So during the transformation phase from neutron star to the redshift phase, there will be an exponential increase in the temperature for its constants.
I'm really sorry, I couldn't get your question. If you don't mind. In fact, we are also talking about that from 2020 onwards, there is a 13-year phase where we might experience a global cooling in a shade. However, that doesn't allow us, because after 13 years, if there's another solar phase is going to come, we'll be having tremendous issues and we might be washed out. I think what Mr. Jawar said, number one, do we have enough of the time till 2020? This is one of the questions. I think he has made a very valid point we'd like to put out. I think this is again the inconvenience, but it's a few things happening. Like, the whole ocean movement is going. So if it is water is coming from north to south and with the central coming in the ocean, there is the ocean current moving out. And it moves like this from equator, so Worm's equator. It goes to the north, colder, and when it's cold, it's an enormous brine solution. It goes cold, so it goes down. And it goes down and the cold wave comes below, and that's the whole ocean cycle goes on in the globe. So it's a north pole one side, the north side, and then a southern hemisphere on the other side. But it's the North Pole and South Pole, because they have two ice caps. There is a, because of temperature difference, this movement happens, oceanic current. And because of oceanic current and this movement, we have all the monsoon, we have all the rain, everything coming out. Now, with global warming, which is happening, if you see northern ice cap is already now 6 meters, and by 2015, maybe 2014, it was earlier it was 2015, by 2014 summer, there might be a situation where we won't have any ice in the north. Now, what happens with the ice melting immediately? Now, on the Greenland ice, they are the land ice. The moment the land ice comes as a water, the water level rise. This is one. So that's a problem. Number two, the moment the land ice melts, it's not the salty ice, it's the sweet ice. The moment the sweet water actually dilutes the salt solution, it doesn't go down. And it doesn't go down, there is oceanic current changes going to happen, and what is rightly pointed out, it is either it is going to be tilted, but if it is like tilt, there is no point of it. If it happens, we can have the ice even before collision. It can be possible. That is theoretically, might not be hopefully will not be possible, but 2017, by 2017, if you cannot do it, by sophistication and stabilization, we have a trouble in our future. And even here, right, there is a lot of things that from 2020 to another 12 to 13 years of cycle, we might face a global cooling because of the Platonic movement. However, that doesn't prohibit us beyond 2033 or 2035, then what we will be facing, which is a geosphere. Because my concentration is not going to come. So, am I answering you? Because using resources efficiently, what's the problem? I was talking to Janine or somebody else instead of talking. I heard it from J.J. Irani, Dr. J.J. Irani, I hope you know the name. He was the CEO of Tata and he was Tata Sons and still members of the industry. I think he is really a person of stature. And one evening in Lonavala, we were fortunately in the lakeside, we were sitting together and he was talking to my daughter and he was speaking in Bengali. I was surprised. And he said, in my childhood days, I used a pen, dot pen, to put out, and he said, we had a riffle which is plastic inside, plastic riffle, so it's a metal tip in this. And one pen we used to use for 3-4 years until it wax. And sometimes it breaks. And even he said we had injection riffles, so because that riffle costs are small, so we get the normal ink, put it and put the boiling, because Vaseline is also boiling inside the bag, and I used to use that. So one pen of his, he said, for the whole thing class 10 or 12, I think I had 2 or 3 pens. He said, I had cobblers, so whenever my shoe is there, I will go stitch and use it. And I do use my shirt, if something is there, button or like this, I used to stitch it out, small like this. And we used to have bags. Right? And I used to say, all those days are gone, why we are using paints which throw our paints every day? And the thing about the amount of plastics and materials and metals we are doing. Are we doing judiciously on these things? This is a question, because this is not talking about the quality of life. This is talking about how efficiently we use the resources. Still my father, he uses the shard which is still 15 years old. I can do that. Some concepts are also very old, but in good condition. But thing is that are we unnecessarily going out the consumption route? Who is going to give us that right? That I can do whatever I want because I am having money, I want to spend it. I mean, those are, we are facing some of the social question now. Actually, in that table you can see it's a new pen. It's not a pen. Because I use the ink pen and one ink pen I think I'm using for the last 12 years and it is fantastic. But I mean going for this path, low carbon path, I use only one shoe. Until otherwise it is worn out, I will not get the second one. But I think we need to develop the culture. Somehow or somehow. Yes, sir. Please.
Just to answer the question, I think your question was very. You asked a very scientific question. That's, I think I understand it like this. There is solar flash. Sometimes there is a flash from the sun, which affects, which generates huge amounts of heat, and that might wipe out maybe the entire earth. And there are English films, a very masala version of the film. There is one film like that. There is one film in which solar flash comes in. That is what you answered. There is also other disasters like Armageddon, the asteroid striking Earth. This is one of the very potential threats. And government has invested, governments of the world have invested on projects that constantly monitor for any possible asteroid pollution on Earth. And some preparatory works are going. There are also other potential dangers like time collapse. That's a film on time. These are actually real potential. They can be, but those are a different kind of things. The potential, the probability is very, very less, 1 in 1,000 or 1 in million. And those are not made by our action. That's what Shoaib explains. Because it is bound to happen. Dinosaurs disappear because of an asteroid strike. They are bound to happen and we are preparing us. But this particular thing is what he is trying to say is we are digging our own grave. And we need to be aware of it. We are fools. We are very limited brains. We are the only animals who are capable of saying that renewable energy is costlier, but non-renewable energy is cheaper. This mistake nobody else can do. Only we are, because there is an auditor nearby me. We have an accounting system which makes sun, wind and other things costlier than making burning coal and oil cheaper. This mistake only human beings have done. We have done a lot of mistakes. We have fought First World War, and then we fought Second World War, and now we have created European Union. Now India and Pakistan, we are fighting with each other, we are brothers. So we are not very intelligent people. Request is, let us not dig our own grave. Let us not go mindfully. We will together, if we do something, we do it. What is their right to spoil the birth for our children? So your child, my child, what kind of individuals are we? Can we leave a birth which is worse than the world we are living for our children? I think all of us will not die peacefully if we do not give a good word. Say, we are taking children. And we are doing it again and again. There need to be some solution for all this. And that is precisely why I think Shreya was very, very sensitive about it. And he said today morning, especially for a person who is working near us here, to just leave the bicycle near the boss's car, 6-wheeler car, that's an act of bravery. That requires a lot of that. Every day you need to fight against this foolishness.
We attach to the right consequence. Is it only CO2 or something else?
Sir, CO2, you're right. As I said, there are some special chemicals. I think HFCs. He knows better because I don't remember the year. HFCs are much more dangerous. Maybe 100 times.
It's 10,000 times.
10,000 times more dangerous than CO2. If you catch one molecule of HFCs, there are we don't have to catch 10,000 molecules of CO2. And China,
SF6 is 23,600. However, the thing is that I think Montreal Protocol is taking a very good step on this. Montreal Protocol first stopped around 12, which is 2004, they banned it. Then 2011, they banned the entire supply also, around 12. They banned already 22. They have taken HCFC, which is the next gas. It was supposed to be banned within 2030. They have already preponed it to 2020, and this is already in their talks. I think this is May, with the next session of the Montreal Protocol is 10. They are trying to bring HFC 23 and HCFC by 2016. So they are already taking a huge action, and which is successful action. Freon is completely out now. We don't see Freon over there. Want that to do it, but every thing they are phasing out in a very structured manner, and they are phasing out. So HCFC is more or less getting taken care of. We are getting more refrigerant switches there. PFCs is yes, we are already doing aluminum plants, and 80% of the PFC emissions compared to 1940 has been reduced already. International Aluminium Associations, IAA, it's doing that thing, and they're very strict on completely abolishing the aluminum PFC, and it helps improving their productivity and cost also. So it's a business case, they're doing this. Finally, we're talking about the SF6. Earlier SF6, there is also a very significant advancement. Earlier we didn't have macro breakers, even 36 kV switch breakers. Now we are having even 66 kV switch breakers. We are having macro breakers already. Those technologies are there. So we are actually removing SF6 from the 66 kV breakers. So any new, even the government is pushing the regulations over there. European, yes, if it's 66 kV, you cannot use SF6 anymore. It has to be macro breaker, and we are going towards 30 kV macro breakers. So that's the next stage of technology. So we are trying to phase out that SF6. However, SF6, as it is not so dangerous because you use it in grams. In one of the capsules in the distribution things, you use few grams, and it doesn't emit out everything. And after a few years, you refill that. You don't refill the entire things. And there is another process already called SF6 destruction. Whenever you are actually life is over, you are taking it and you destruct the SF6. So no more you just release it out. So we are taking care of that also quite well, which is actually not being manageable, which is CO2. Methane also, there is a lot of effort basically because of energy becoming costlier. Waste to energy plants are coming, not only in India, globally. If we are talking about either the composting plants or the landfill waste energy plants, the technology, specifically introduction of plasma technology. Earlier it was normal incineration, which has a lot of issues. But with the plasma incineration, we are getting that door is open. A lot of we are able to recycle back the energy over there. So incineration is also getting taken care of. In fact, on the wastewater treatment also, this is a Tirupur, the textile area. They have been, the whole area was closed because of the wastewater contamination, and now they are putting up their wastewater treatment plant, taking it in. Only thing, animal one is that even we are trying to get the people are trying to get the product changes for the animal, so that methane, which is not anthropogenic but still taken care of. So those things are working on. Which we are really not able to manage is our greed for more power. And like I said, I really had something. Yes, why not renewable energy? Why not? Who has given us the? It's a costing against from the reserve to resource to value. So we have a coal reserve. From there we identify resource. Out of that, and then we put out the reserve. Do we put any value on the coal reserve? No. Why not? because we are degrading the value, taking out the value, we just put the conversion factor. Are we talking about any of the environmental harm this is doing, how value lost things, tax putting on the whole? No. There is a whole lot of taxation systems we are working on now, which is instead of value-added tax, we are going to a few of the countries like Sweden, they are actually planning for value loss tax. So, the more efficient way you produce, which is you actually conserve the resource value, you are less taxed. The more efficient you are less taxed. More inefficient you are more